Dear students, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is Arafat mujeeb from FEI Higher Secondary Institute. Today I am with chapter number first. Chapter is about the life processes. In this chapter today my topic is to discuss Typhus of Respiration. In the previous lecture I discussed about the concept of respiration today, or the typhus of respiration, as per the organisms adapted for the respiration, whether they take the respiration in the presence of atmospheric oxygen or in the absence of atmospheric oxygen. There are the conditions. Upon those conditions there are the typhus of respiration, and it is 10th standard biology. Now, is the concept about the typhus of respiration as is that we have two types of respiration. One is the aerobic type of respiration, aerobic respiration, and another is the anaerobic respiration. In this we have to discuss both the two types of respiration. Now first, aerobic type of respiration. Aerobic respiration. This type of respiration takes place in multicellular organisms. Multicellular organisms, and or some exceptions also as well take place in the unicellular like organisms, amoeba, paramecium, bacteria, or the other examples, but it very common is in the multicellular organisms as we talk about the plants and animals. Plants and animals, दोनों में aerobic type of respiration. And in this aerobic type of respiration, essentially there is the need of atmospheric oxygen. This takes place in the presence of, this type of respiration takes place in the presence of atmospheric oxygen, और जिसमें जो फूड होता है, absorbed food होता है in the tissue cells, वो oxidize. There is the oxidation of absorbed food material in tissue cells. Therefore this type of respiration is aerobic type of respiration is known as sometimes cellular respiration. Aerobic type of respiration takes place in the organisms usually or multicellular type of organism. Those are known as aerobes. Aerobes are living organisms. In the presence of atmospheric oxygen, they oxidize the absorbed food material in their tissue cells, and there is the release of energy. Essentially in aerobic type of respiration there is the release of energy in the form of ATPs. ATPs are hence energy rich molecules that are produced during the aerobic type of respiration. Therefore aerobic type of respiration contain the rich amount of energy, rich amount of energy. Those organisms wherein aerobic type of respiration takes place are known as aerobes. एरोबस क्या होते हैं? एरोबस लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स होते हैं, इनके पास अच्छी खासी एनर्जी होती है, क्योंकि अच्छे खासे एनर्जी का वजह ये होता है देयर इज कंप्लीट ऑक्सीडेशन ऑफ absorbed food in tissue cells. I will show you an example what type of reaction takes place in aerobic type of respiration and large amount of energy is released in aerobic type of respiration. Organisms are known as aerobes. That means in the presence of atmospheric oxygen, food is oxidized in the tissue cells. Actually, the aerobic respiration takes place in the cells, in the tissue cells. Aerobic respiration जो है, what it is? That means when there is a food, C6H12O6. It is the simple food known as the glucose. Glucose is a simple carbohydrate. When these glucose reaches to the tissue cells, where the tissue cells, there reaches the atmospheric oxygen. Here we can say oxygen, 6 times oxygen they reach. Here they show their respiration. As we talk about the this takes place in plants and in animals. Here this type of respiration takes place here. Then there is the releasing of there is the 6 times formation of carbon dioxide gas plus 6 times water molecule in the liquid state, and there is the simultaneously releasing of energy. This energy there remains stored in ATPs. ATPs is the energy rich molecules. This type of respiration, aerobic respiration, while in the tissue cells में क्या होते हैं, जो tissue cells में glucose simple carbohydrate oxidize होता है on chemically react with atmospheric oxygen gaseous state. In plant's body, in animal's body, there is the formation of wastes, carbon dioxide gas and water as a wastes. But the important is that in aerobic type of respiration, that there is the energy formation in the ATPs. There we can say that aerobic type of respiration takes place in two setups. First is the glycolysis, and another second setup is the it takes place by the Krebs cycle. There is also known as TCA cycle, that is tricarboxylic acid cycle कहा भी जाता है इसको, और Krebs cycle. Both the two setups takes place in the aerobic type of respiration. One is the glycolysis. It takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell. Cytoplasm of cell. ये cytoplasm of cell में होते हैं, जिसमें जो ग्लूकोज है ब्रेक डाउन होता है into the pyruvic acid, and then there is a later formation of intermediate compound by that is known as acetyl CoA, and acetyl CoA then it later on reacts with oxaloacetic acid. Then there is a formation of citric acid. Then there is the start of the Krebs cycle. Krebs cycle आपको डिटेल में नहीं पढ़ोगे, यहाँ पढ़ना आपको, तो आप हायर क्लास में जाके Krebs cycle का मैकेनिज्म पढ़ोगे. Actually there is the energy releasing, rich amount of energy is released thereof in the Krebs cycle, and carbon dioxide gas formation takes place. Here Krebs cycle takes place in the mitochondria of the cell. Therefore mitochondria contain the rich amount of ATPs molecules. Actually by way of the Krebs cycle it takes place in the mitochondria of the cell. Mitochondria वो organelle है सेल का जो काबिलियत रखता है ATPs बनाने में. यही ATPs फिर बाद में ब्रेक डाउन होके एनर्जी रिलीज करते हैं जो बॉडी को चाहिए टू ऑपरेट वेरियस लाइफ एक्टिविटीज. तो यहाँ मैंने बताया जो एरोबिक टाइप ऑफ रेस्पिरेशन है ये कंप्लीट होता है दो सेटअप्स में, एक तो ग्लाइकोलिसिस में, दूसरा Krebs साइकिल में. Krebs साइकिल का दूसरा नाम है TCA साइकिल, ट्राई कार्बोक्सिलिक एसिड साइकिल. जो ग्लाइकोलिसिस है, ग्लाइकोलिसिस में क्या बनता है, ग्लूकोज आखिरकार ब्रेक डाउन होता है इसमें pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acid, it is the 3 carbon organic compound. यहाँ pyruvic acid बनता है intermediate product. फिर later on this pyruvic acid enter into the Krebs cycle. Then इस chemical को लिया जाता है माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया में जाके ये कन्वर्ट होता है एसिटाइल को ए in the presence of enzyme acetyl CoA enzyme. तो यहाँ Krebs cycle में क्या होता है? Krebs cycle में ही here is the formation of later on carbon dioxide gas, intermediate product and water, and also here is the production of the energy in the form of ATPs. और इसमें भी हमें energy हासिल होता है, but not so much. We can say here the formation of 2 ATPs and rest of the ATPs is generating in the Krebs cycle. Krebs cycle is the important mechanism of the respiration. That aerobic type of respiration. This is all about the aerobic type of respiration, where there is essentially need of atmospheric oxygen, and plants and animals need this oxygen with the help of the breathing physical process. Then it makes availability to their blood. With the help of blood, it reaches to the tissue cells where it is oxidizing. After oxidizing, there is a release of the energy. And aerobic type of reaction takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell. The glycolysis takes place. Then in the mitochondria of the cell, there takes place Krebs cycle, or we can say it is also named the TCA cycle. तो जिन ऑर्गेनिज्म्स में ये एरोबिक टाइप ऑफ रेस्पिरेशन होती है, हम कहेंगे उनको एरोब्स. That means they essentially need atmospheric oxygen to have respiration in order to break down the absorbed food. Then for their survival, oxygen is very important. Then later on this discuss about the topic the anaerobic respiration क्या होती है. Anaerobic respiration, इस पे अब हम डिस्कस कर लेंगे. यहाँ मैं बताना चाहता हूं कि जो एरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन है, देयर इज अ नेट गेन ऑफ ATPs, 36 ATPs. जो ATPs है वो जनरेट होता है, जनरेटेड बाय द ऑक्सीडेशन ऑफ one molecule of glucose. एक molecule of glucose जब ऑक्सीडाइज होता है, there is a net generation of 36 ATP molecules in the aerobic type of respiration. ये याद रखिए, कभी कभार ऑब्जेक्टिव फॉर्म, मल्टीपल चॉइस फॉर्म में या एक नंबर फॉर्म में क्वेश्चन आता है. टोटल तो 38 ATPs. तो ग्लाइकोलिसिस में 2 ATPs यूटिलाइज होता है. तो नेट गेन ऑफ ATP molecule in aerobic type of respiration is 36. Now we talk about the anaerobic type of respiration. This type of respiration is seen in the lower level organisms. Usually जिनको हम यूनिसेल्युलर ऑर्गेनिजम्स कहा जाता है. एग्जाम्पल में हम लेंगे बैक्टीरिया, यीस्ट्स एंड एटसेट्रा अदर ऑर्गेनिजम्स. तो एनाएरोबिक टाइप ऑफ रेस्पिरेशन, एन का मतलब होता है एब्सेंस. Aerobus means air, opus means life. they have life without the absence of air. That means they sustain their life. The organisms sustain their life without the air. That means they don't need the atmospheric oxygen for their survival. That means to have the respiration. Respiration ही एक ऐसा important life process है जिससे हमें एनर्जी हासिल होती है. वही एनर्जी एक ऑर्गेनिज्म को जिंदा रखती है टू ऑपरेट द वेरियस लाइफ एक्टिविटीज. तो एनारोबिक टाइप ऑफ रेस्पिरेशन देखा जाता है जनरली इन द लोअर ग्रेड ऑफ ऑर्गेनिजम्स which are of single celled, या they or some tissue grade of organizations, या वो organism जो जिनका parasitic mode of nutrition हो, तो उनमें वो anaerobic type of respiration होता है. तो हम कहेंगे यहाँ lower grade of organization have anaerobic type of respiration. Lower organisms, lower level organisms which have simplest life form, and they don't need atmospheric oxygen in order to break down food, absorbed food material. They don't need oxygen. They lack oxygen for their survival. But still they show their respiration. They obtain energy. The energy here obtained by this type of respiration, energy is less amount of energy is released as compared to aerobic type of respiration. There is the rich amount of energy is released, generated. Here less amount of energy is released. जो इसमें प्रोडक्ट्स बनते हैं वो बनते हैं इथेनॉल, इथाइल अल्कोहल, या कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड गैस, या लैक्टिक एसिड, लैक्टिक एसिड. तो जैसे और साथ एनर्जी भी हासिल होती है मगर बहुत ही कम. लिटिल अमाउंट ऑफ एनर्जी इज रिलीज्ड इन द anaerobic type of respiration. Anaerobic type of respiration, energy is released to these organisms for their survival. Although is the less amount of energy but is needed for their survival. Then here we can say with the help of an example that organisms, yes, of course, have glucose in their body. Simple food as a glucose, and in the absence of oxygen, they convert. In absence of oxygen, they convert this glucose. It shows anaerobic type of respiration. Convert it into C2H5OH. That is, ethanol, ethyl alcohol, ethanol plus there is the formation of carbon dioxide. 2 times, here I will write here 2 times carbon dioxide gas. साथ में हमें energy मिलती है. That is a less amount with the generation of 2 ATPs molecules. In anaerobic type of respiration, it is the anaerobic type of respiration. In the food, when a food reaches to the cell, this glucose is present in the cell, or in the simple tissues. We can say simple tissue. Their body is made up of simple tissues, or cell, we can say, or cell. And in absence of oxygen, it converts into the ethanol, ethyl alcohol, and therefore anaerobic type of respiration was the Louis Pasteur who discovered alcoholic fermentation. Anaerobic respiration is therefore the alcoholic ferment. It is the alcoholic fermentation. When there is the preparation of alcohol by the Louis Pasteur's experiment, that they feed the yeast cells, the yeasts the yeasts undergo anaerobic respiration and convert this carbohydrate rich food into the ethyl alcohol, and it is an organic chemical, and there is a formation of waste carbon dioxide gas, and energy is released in this. That yeast organisms feed on this and break down, absorb this food material. After reaches in the yeast cells, they break down the food in the absence of atmospheric oxygen, give us the preparation of ethyl alcohol. मीडियम सारा अल्कोहल बन जाता है और कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड gas is generated in the gas bubbles in the container. There is formation and little amount of energy is released. Therefore, Louis Pasteur named this type of respiration anaerobic respiration is a alcoholic fermentation. आपने पढ़ा होगा कि एलिमेंट्री साइंसेस में कि फर्मेंटेशन प्रोसेस क्या होता है. That is actually the anaerobic type of respiration. Occasionally, there also take place the anaerobic respiration in human beings. आपने देखा होगा when you are doing the heavy toll of work, heavy exercise, you are running fast, and sometimes you feel a pain, fatigue in the muscles of the limbs, and at that time you feel a cramps in the muscles, limbs of the muscles. You feel that. What is that? That is that our body don't get the excess amount of oxygen. उस वक्त उस heavy exercise के दौरान, heavy काम करने के दौरान body पूरा lower जो body का हमारा जो lower parts है, those are the far away parts. वहां तक ऑक्सीजन की कमी होती है, ऑक्सीजन अच्छे खासा नहीं वहां पहुंचता है, तो वहां चला जाता है उन मसल सेल्स में, लिम्ब्स में. आमतौर हम देखते हैं क्रैम्प्स when you have a heavy job of work, heavy toll of work, heavy exercise, you run very hard, so you have at the time there is suddenly take place anaerobic type of respiration. What takes place in the muscle limbs, in the muscles, there is the glucose. Also we can say in human beings, in humans occasionally important, in humans here is the exception that also in humans there take place an aerobic type of respiration. It was the example first that take place in the yeast or in the bacteria. The anaerobic type of respiration is common, but in humans occasionally there take place the anaerobic type of respiration. Here in humans the muscle cells contain the glucose, simple food. This glucose add in those muscle cells when it reaches the muscle cells of, I talk about the muscle cells of the limbs, the lower limbs होता है, they far away of the body, and they don't get the excess amount of oxygen, although there is oxygen but less amount of oxygen, not properly oxidized this. Then there is a formation of the lactic acid. Occasionally due to the formation of lactic acid, it causes the cramps in the muscles. Lactic acid is वहाँ 2 times बनता है lactic acid plus there is a formation of also the carbon dioxide gas 2 times. Here there is the energy of little amount of energy is released, less amount energy होती है, तो less amount of energy occasionally. Then अब ये lactic acid बना तो in the, we can say in the muscle cells, when there is less available of oxygen gas, as sufficient amount of oxygen gas is not reaching to the muscle cells, and what take place here, lactic acid formation take place in the muscle cells, where it causes the cramps and we feel the fatigue. हम दौड़ नहीं पाते, हम और ज़्यादा काम नहीं कर पाते. तो जब भी हम फिर रिलैक्स होते हैं, we go for the relaxation, then our body meets the rich amount of oxygen, then the oxygen reaches to the muscles, same area. Here the lactic acid then further oxidized normally into the कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड वाटर एंड अच्छी खासी एनर्जी वापस हासिल होती है. तो ये occasionally by chance in human beings there is the anaerobic type of respiration when we have a heavy toll of work, heavy exercise. Under that circumstances the glucose in a muscle cells, in our muscles, don't get the sufficient amount of oxygen. There is a oxygen deficiency, and by chance there is formation of lactic acid or lactate. This chemical, organic chemical in the muscles cause the cramps, fatigue, and we feel the itching in our muscles. And carbon dioxide is also at that time generated. Still a little amount of energy is released, but when we are going to the relax, we relax and we take a sufficient amount of oxygen. So then our body muscles meet the rich amount of oxygen. Then there is the further breakdown of the lactic acid slowly. Then there is again there is the aerobic type of respiration. Dear students, it is all about the types of respiration: aerobic type of respiration, anaerobic type of respiration. Anaerobic type of respiration, little amount of energy is released, that is only the 2 ATPs are generated. तो जो aerobic type of respiration, importantly याद रखिए आप, aerobic type of जो respiration है, only glycolysis takes place. इसमें only process glycolysis takes place. खाली glycolysis इसमें process होता है. Krebs cycle is absent in the anaerobic type of respiration. Only there is glycolysis. Here is only the formation of pyruvate या pyruvic acid, जो इससे पहले aerobic respiration के glycolysis में बना, वैसे यहाँ पे भी बनता है pyruvic acid, 3 carbon containing compound organic. Here glycolysis, then this glycolysis then after divided in the ethanol या lactic acid, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड में ब्रेक डाउन होता है, little amount of energy is released here. And therefore the anaerobic type of respiration takes place only in the cytoplasm of take place in the cytoplasm of cell में होता है. वो भी कौन सा प्रोसेस? ग्लाइकोलिसिस, जिसमें एथेनॉल बनता है, carbon dioxide, as we specially study this case, there is a form of lactic acid, little amount of energy is released in an anaerobic type of respiration. Organisms में, जिन organisms में anaerobic type of respiration होती है, those are known as anaerobes. Anaerobic respiration is a alcoholic fermentation as discovered by Louis Pasteur. Here, now is there to discuss another topic here. मैं चाहता हूँ मैं इसी के साथ कंप्लीट करता हूँ ये respiration in plants. How plants there is common respiration in animals, also in plants there take place the respiration. Plants में भी respiration होती है. Although plant show the photosynthesis में एंड फूड जो है वो सिंथेसाइज होते हैं, मगर सिंथेसिस के बाद खाली सिंथेसाइज नहीं करते हैं फूड, इनको अपने लिए भी दे आल्सो नीड द एनर्जी. दैट एनर्जी कम्स बाय द रेस्पिरेशन. देयरफॉर देयर इज आल्सो अ रेस्पिरेशन इन प्लांट्स, इन प्लांट बॉडी. दे आल्सो नीड द ऑक्सीजन, but they have a peculiar time, a specific time period for the respiration in plants. As animals respire continuously throughout their life, day and night, but plants takes respiration only during the night. Evening time pe respiration takes place. Then here is the concept of the respiration in plants. जो प्लांट्स ग्लूकोज बनाते हैं, यही ग्लूकोज रूट पार्ट्स में रहते हैं, रूट्स, स्टेमस, बड्स, लीव्स एंड लीव्स. प्लांट के लीव्स पार्ट में स्टोर रहता है। तो आप ये चाहे कि इनको वो प्लांट्स में कौन सी तरफ ऑफ रेस्पिरेशन, एरोबिक respiration takes place, in which the glucose simple food in stored in the root system, buds, leaves in the form of starch. They first convert back into the glucose, then they take place the aerobic type of respiration. Essentially those plants need atmospheric oxygen. ये इसका मतलब ये नहीं प्लांट्स ऑक्सीजन नहीं लेते हैं, हाँ लेते हैं for the respiration process. Then this type of respiration takes place in them. They have at night. वो हम कहेंगे respiration in plants obviously take place respiration at the night. At the night they take place the respiration and they stop the photosynthesis. As you know that during the night there is no sunlight, there is no possibility of photosynthesis. जो आप इन्होंने photosynthesis के बदौलत से बनाया है, खाना रिजर्व किया है, आप इसको यूटिलाइज करना है, अपने आप को संभालना है. They also need the energy to perform various life activities, metabolic activities. For that purpose they need the energy. That energy comes by the respiration, and इनमें होती है anaerobic type of respiration, and respiration takes place during the day, and they need for the atmospheric oxygen, and respiration takes place in roots of the plant system and the leaves of the plants. Respiration बहुत सारे पार्ट्स में रेस्पिरेशन होती है. प्लांट्स में जो रेस्पिरेशन होती है वो सिंपल रेस्पिरेशन होती है, इनमें ज्यादा कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी नहीं होती है. Simple respiration takes place in plant bodies by means of diffusion. Diffusion ऐसा एक प्रोसेस है, diffusion जिसमें क्या होता है, जो ऑक्सीजन गैस है they diffuse cell to cell, and here the cell contains this glucose, then it is breaking down under the anaerobic type of respiration. Essentially needs the atmospheric oxygen, and they take place, show the respiration during the night. Simple respiration, they follow the concept of the diffusion. You know, material, gaseous, solid substance begins to flow from higher concentration to lower concentration, here cell to cell, where there is the already presence of the glucose. वो respiration plants में होता है बहुत सारे parts में. चलो आज हम इसमें बात कर लेंगे कौन सी टाइप ऑफ रेस्पिरेशन को. Therefore plants are aerobes, they show the aerobic type of respiration. तो अच्छी खासी एनर्जी इनको हासिल होती है, अच्छी खासी एनर्जी. तो व्हाट आर द हाउ plants take oxygen and where the respiration takes place. प्लांट्स में जो रेस्पिरेशन होती है वो होती है लीव्स में. फर्स्ट लीव्स में क्या होता है, स्टोमेटा, जिनके कारण ये ऑक्सीजन गैस ले पाते. सेकंड रूट्स में, रूट सिस्टम में क्या होते हैं शबा, रूट हेयर्स. These root hairs are superficially covered by epidermal layer, thin epidermal layer of cells, जो simply oxygen उनसे diffuse होता है. Third is the lenticels. बात हम कर लेंगे, lenticels. These are present in if we talk about the woody जो plants होते हैं, woody